So sticking with the theme of doing a little bit of teaching in line with some of the live videos, this particular video that you guys are about to watch, there's 2 double board bomb pots that I get involved in quite extensively. And one of the things you need to know when you're playing double board bomb pots is that you need the ability to scoop both boards. And so it's one of those things like at the Wynn in Las Vegas, which is where this video was recorded at, every dealership, they do a double board bomb pot, depending on what stakes you're playing. This was a game that was at 5 o'clock in the morning. So most of the people that were there were either really stuck, really tired, drunk. I had just woken up. I was actually there on a trip with my wife and didn't plan on playing any poker, but rather than waking her up at 5 in the morning because I can't sleep, I decided to go have a quick session, and I managed to get enough content for a video. So again, double board bomb pots, if you're playing them, you need to be playing for both boards. If you're only playing for one board, you're going to end up losing a lot of money. So the strategy there is, even if you have like a gut shot on one or runner full house, those are a lot of boards that are okay to continue with on the flop, as long as you have a really strong holding on a different hand. So for example, if you have like pocket 8 and one board has like 8, 9, 3, and then the other board has like deuce, deuce, 4, you do have a chance to get an 8 on the bottom board to get a full house, or you could even get another deuce, and deuces full of 8s might be good, depending on what the action is. So it's always something that you want to proceed with caution, but in double board bomb pots, again, your goal is to scoop both boards. So what's funny is when I was playing with these guys, we were short-handed, like 5 or 6-handed, and I kept winning the double board bomb pots, and they said, well, you are now deemed the bomb pot professor. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Go ahead and hit the like and subscribe if you haven't. Please feel free to share it, and I welcome all feedback. Hopefully you guys like the new graphics, and as always, play smart and run like a god. So being that this was 5 in the morning, it was a quick 3-hour session. Keep in mind, people are tired. The first hand I look down at is 7-7, 8 queen with suited spades. Now, because we are 5 or 6-handed, my range is going to be a little bit wider. So even though I'm out of position, 40 bucks with a pair, I'm going to go ahead and call that. We end up flopping quite possibly the best flop we could hope for. Deuce 3-7 with the spade draw. I go ahead and lead out for 80 bucks. My opponent calls, the original raiser does. Everybody else gets out of the way. So here I'm thinking, what is this guy calling with? Maybe he's just floating. I'm not sure. Jack of diamonds comes on the turn. That doesn't change anything unless he's got pocket jacks, which would be a stone cold cooler. So when I fire out 250 bucks, this guy snap calls, and I'm thinking, what is he snap calling me with? River's a 6 of clubs. I go ahead and check. He goes in the tank for a little bit. I already make the decision. If this guy fires out 825, I'm going to snap call him. Instead, he does the right thing. He checks back. I show him that we have a set of 7s, and we're going to be good on this one. So if you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe. We do appreciate it. So one of the things I really like about Pot Limit Omaha, especially at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, is people are really talkative. And I like to talk at the table a lot. I hope you guys like to talk at the table a lot. I actually use it as part of my strategy. So I like to talk to people, get little reads on them. Oh my God, look at this hand, 9-9 Jack Queen double suited. Well, we're definitely going to see a flop here. Somebody raised it 25 bucks, one of the middle position players. It's total of 3 callers. I'm one of them. God, the board, we totally whiffed that. King deuce 7, complete rainbow. Action checks through, and what comes on the turn? Wow, my gin card, 10 of diamonds. Oh my God, I am definitely leading this now. I go ahead and fire out 45 bucks. I'm sitting here, I've got a complete wrap. I got a diamond, I need an 8, a 9, a jack, a queen, an ace, or a diamond. Wow, I get 2 callers. What are these guys calling with? I've got the world. Oh, 6 of clubs. I missed. Well, I don't think I'm going to win this pot with a pair of 9s. I better bet pot. So I go ahead and fire out 215 bucks. First player says, well, my hand's no good. Second player stacks his chips up all nice and tidy and then shoves it. I show him, never mind, you're good. I just had blockers. I missed everything. Nice hand. Alrighty, let's see what we look down here. Oh, deuce 4, 5, 8. Definitely not a premium, but I am on the button. Under the gun player decided to make it 15, and as you guys know with the button principle, even though it is 6-handed, I'm definitely calling. So after I call, what's this? The small blind decides to 3-bet for 80. You villain, you. He just got back from a smoke break. He was running really bad. He said he's been playing for like 40 hours. I'm sitting there going, well, everybody else called, so I might as well call. So now we're actually going to the flop 4 ways for $80 pre-flop. This is a really bad hand, but when you're on the button, keep in mind you can play anything. Oh my God, the flop is ace-3-4. I can't believe it. I just flopped the stone cold nuts. Oh my God, and the 3-better, he's betting pot. He bet $325. Doesn't he know that there's 3 people behind him? Everybody folds to me. I double check my cards. I'm like, yes, we shall go all in. Not only do I have the nuts, I do have a blocker to your full house with your 4. He snap calls with ace, ace, king, 10. I say, you want to run it once or twice? He says, let's run it once. Turns a jack of diamonds, queen of clubs on the river. He ends up having Broadway. He doesn't even realize he has Broadway initially until I tell him, but he's a super nice guy, sleep deprived. He's tabled his hand, and I said, hey, you got Broadway. So he ends up going runner against me. Nice hand, sir. Alrighty, what are we going to look down at this time? 6, 8, 9, 10 with the 9, 10 of hearts. We are under the gun. Looks like somebody makes it $15. We have 3-way action. You know, a nice rundown hand like this, it's just a 1-gapper, which is good. It's good to have the bottom part of it be a gap. Ooh, flop is 5-3-7. Well, I'm definitely leading this board. 5-3-7, I have a top-end wrap. I have running hearts. I end up getting a caller. We are heads up. I'm thinking 4, 6, 8, 9. Oh, a 10 comes up. That even gives me more outs. It is a 10 of diamonds. I don't have any diamonds, but I'm going to bet 50 bucks because I already started applying the pressure, so let's continue applying the pressure. My opponent, we are heads up, thinks $50 is not enough. He makes it $220. So when he makes it $220, I'm not going anywhere. I'm like, buddy, we're shorthanded. My range is wide open. I'm going to go ahead and call this. I do have top pair, which doesn't mean much in Omaha, unless the river comes a 5. Once it comes a 5, I'm like, I'm blocking top full house, baby. Let's go ahead and lead out for pot. He insta-folds. I show him the bluff, and we end up scooping this one. Sometimes when you just got to bluff at it. All right, let's see how we do on the next rundown hand. Ooh, 7, 8, 9 jack with 9 jack of diamonds. Now, I do love these rundown hands. Under the gun made it 30. I'm in the small blind. It gets back to me. I call. The big blind, who's the guy who had pocket aces before, who went runner, he makes it 120. So I go ahead and call. There's $300 in the pot. I tell him, hey, if a 9 comes, you should muck it. He says, if an ace comes, you should muck it. Oh, my God. Flop is ace, 9, 10. We have a complete wrap. So in this situation, I'm definitely not checking. I'm going to go ahead and lead out for 140 bucks. He quickly jams all in for 420 effectively. I snap call. Again, I say, sir, once or twice. He says once. Turn is the 7 of clubs. We have the nuts. River's the 5 of clubs. I turn it over, and I say, I had a complete wrap. I have a straight. He turns over pocket aces, and then one of his aces is a club, and I'm like, do you have another club? And he goes, oh, yeah, I do. He doesn't even realize he's got clubs. Again, sleep deprived, totally understand. I've been there, done that, but it's the second time in a row he's gone runner to end up scooping me. Of course, the first time I flopped nuts on him. This time, though, turned nuts, but he ends up rivering us again. Don't you know everybody loves a double board bomb pot? Now, on this double board bomb pot, we're picking it up mid-action, okay? We decided to do something totally different. Everybody turns over 1 card. So my 1 random card happens to be the jack of clubs. On the top board, there's jack, jack, 8. We have 3 of a kind. On the bottom board, queen of clubs, 4, 7 of spades. So everybody checks to me, obviously, because I definitely have 3 jacks. I lead out for $120. It gets back to the guy in the 8th seat, and he goes in the tank, and it's funny because the table is like, what are these guys thinking about? He's obviously got a jack. I get 1 caller, not just 1 caller, but the guy behind him calls as well. Now, the guy behind him is showing a 7, and the first caller is showing a 3 of spades. So I'm sitting here going, oh, lordy, we have 2 callers. The top comes an 8, so now we have 3 jacks. We haven't seen the other 3 cards, and the bottom comes a 6 of clubs. So they're going to check it over to me, and I'm actually going to look at my hand. So I see the rest of my hand. Oh, my God. I have the ace of diamonds, so I have 3 jacks with an ace kicker. I do have 4s and 6s, so I have 2 pair on the bottom board. I decide, let's just rip it all in here, boys. It's $190 effective. My phone ends up falling down, so all you guys see right now is just the black screen. The first player ends up folding. Second player calls. The run out is the deuce of clubs on the top, king of clubs on the bottom. I turn over ace jack for essentially the nuts on the top, and then I turn over 4, 6 for 2 pair on the bottom. The gentleman who called me had jack, 7, 9, 10. So we end up scooping this one. Our jack with the bigger kicker plays and 2 pair on the bottom plays. So anytime you're playing double board, go for both boards. So one of the things I preach to my students is intuition. So in this particular hand, that's what this is about. We are picking it up before the flop. It's a total of $65 pre-flop. I have 6-8 ace-king double suited. I'm in the small blind. And you know, when your intuition tells you something is off, you should always listen to your intuition, whether it's to make a big call or a decent laydown. The board comes 3, 7, 8, so it's kind of a disconnected board. I've got top pair, top kicker. I do have 2 overs. I've got backdoor diamonds, backdoor hearts, but I'm going to check. Of course, we are 5 ways. It checks all the way down to the button, and the button jams all in for $190. Now, when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking it's $190. That means there's $500 in the pot. I'm basically getting 2.5 to 1 on my money. The other players did not seem interested in this pot. So, yeah, I think we're just getting too good of a price because we can go runner, full house, runner diamonds, runner hearts. Even just an ace or a king might be good because then we have 2 pairs. So I go ahead and call. The first player, this is the guy who went against me twice, runner, even admits, maybe I'm sleep deprived. He's like, I'm not sure what's going on here. He's like, this is a really weird board for somebody to bet 190 and for somebody to flat. And he's going to end up laying it down. He's like, yeah, just something's off here. The next guy, he decides to jam all in for 260 bucks. And at this point, I'm like, well, I put in 190, another 80 bucks. I'm definitely calling that. But the gentleman in the 8th seat, he's been very interested in this board, staring at it. Now he leans back. He decides to grab some chips. He cuts out 400 in green, throws 2 blacks on there, and then he pushes it in the middle. And I'm like, what? So you're raising 600. You are backdoor raising. He puts the hoodie over his face. He looks down. These are all strengths of signs of strength. So I'm sitting here going, this guy obviously has a really good hand. And I just go in the tank for a minute because I'm trying to think, does he really have a good hand or does he have like 9, 10 jack and a pair of 8s is going to be good? Eventually, I'm like, nope, he's got to have a set of 7s. I announced that to the table. It ended up that that guy did have a set of 7s and he was just sitting on it, the short stack to jam. So here we look down at a hand, deuce, 10, jack, king, double suited. We're already on the flop. It was $30 pre-flop, 4-way action. Again, we're short-handed. This is towards the end of the session. The flop is 4, 10, jack with 2 hearts. So this is one of the best flops I can hope for. I've got top 2 pair with second nut flush draw. I go ahead and bet out 80 bucks. The original raiser, which was the guy I was worried about the most, ends up calling. We get 2 other people to call, so we're going 4 ways to the turn. Now, 10 jack suited is the most draw-heavy board in Pot Limit Omaha. Turn comes a 7 of hearts, and we're going to check it around for pot control. Anytime you have 9, 10, or 10 jack suited, it is the most draw-heavy board, so when you bet, you have to expect callers. When the river comes a 5 of clubs, at this point, I do have second nuts. I am well aware that I have essentially the nuts, because if no one bet the turn, then I'm just going to strictly bet for value. So I fire out $140. The original raiser calls. I actually tell him if he can't raise, I know I have you beat. He shows me he's got the queen high flush. He asked the dealer, how much is it? It's 140 bucks. We took him completely to Value Town. So if you guys do like these videos, please hit the like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Also, don't forget to share it. But yeah, we end up winning this one, which ended up being a nice pot. Here we go, our second double board bomb pot. As you guys know, these guys nickname me the double board bomb pot professor. So we're going to go to the flop here. The top board is 3-7 king. We don't have much going down there. But on the bottom board, queen 10-3 complete rainbow. Now we have a set of queens. We have queen, queen, jack, deuce. So I go ahead, I end up betting out $80. We get 3 callers, so now there's $440 in this double board bomb pot. It is starting to build. The top board comes out the jack of diamonds, the bottom comes out the 4 of spades. So we still have the stone cold nuts on the bottom, and all we have on the top really is just a pair of queens. But when it checks to us, we go ahead and fire out pot. At this point, I'm like, I have the nuts on the bottom. I have to charge max value. You never know what's going to happen on the top board. You know, I'm firing into 3 players. My first opponent, he ends up mucking. The second opponent goes in the tank for a little bit. He's thinking pretty hard. He ends up calling, and then the next guy folds. Now, my other opponent and I say, you know, we are heads up. If you want to check the river, we can check the river. It's big enough pot as it is. I only had like another $400 behind, and so did he, so it's not like we were going anywhere. So the top comes a king of hearts, and the bottom is a six of clubs. I turn over queens. Actually, the king was probably the best thing for me. I later found out that the gentleman had jack seven, with a 9 as well. So he had an open-ended straight draw on the bottom, and he had top two pair, or a two pair on the top. So the king ends up counterfeiting him, and we end up scooping. So nice little $1,300 pot to finish off the session. We end up the session up $31.